welcome to Asian Le Mans. It's the 2017-2018 season. Well, it is about to kick off right here in China. We're kicking it off with 4 hours of ZHUHAI, and right here at ZHUHAI International Circuit. It is a beautiful day, a sunny day, and also the teams are prepping up, getting ready for the qualifying session that's about to kick off. Well, it's going to be a fantastic weekend. They started off yesterday with practice runs, even had some runs practice this morning. So the qualifying session and then the big race day that is happening tomorrow, of course. Now, I am going to be here down at the pit lanes, nearer, closer to where all the actions are happening. And of course, we're going to get you interviews from hopefully the drivers, managers, and of course the engineers, whoever we can get our hands on. And we've also got our commentators up in the box. We are going to be joined by Jeevan Salvanathan together with Graham Goodwin up in the commentary box. So if why not we have a little chit chat with them right now. Jeevan, Graham, how are you guys doing?
How are you doing, Nadia? Good to see you down in the pit lane. Yes, this is Jeevan up in the commentary box, and honored to have next to me the voice of Le Mans and of course the editor-in-chief of dailysportscar.com, man who knows everything about Le Mans, Graham Goodwin. Great to have you in the commentary box, mate.
It's great to be here. Second year in succession here for me at ZHUHAI International Circuit for the Asian Le Mans Series, and this is looking good. It's as Nadia said, a lovely day out there.
It has been
engines firing.
It has been very hot indeed, and those great engines have been firing, as you said, all day. We had a free practice earlier this morning. Let's talk a little bit about, I said we'll get into over the qualifying session. Let's get the rules of qualifying sorted out. First of all, if you are new to endurance racing, then what we're going to be treated to this afternoon, I should say, on this hot evening in ZHUHAI is 2 15-minute qualifying sessions, one for the LMP2 and LMP3 classes. Those are the Le Mans prototype classes, and one for the GT class, right?
Indeed, right. LMP cars, if you're not used to this form of racing, pure racing prototypes. Effectively, they're two-seater, if you like, full race cars. Wheels covered, of course, beautiful cars from Ligier and from Orica. The GT cars, the GT3 specification here, are racing versions of real-world hypercars. In this instance, we've got the Audi represented, BMW, and the AMG GT3.
I think to make this really relatable to some of those people, as you said, that aren't quite used to it, as you can see from the clock in the bottom left of your screen, we're 11 minutes from the opening of qualifying. There'll be a big siren for that, and as you said, these cars are unique in terms of their design and their application, of course, and they really are kind of the split between the F1 that we know of and, of course, the road cars, and you get the biggest road cars. Now, we're going to be heading down to the pit line to talk to one of the drivers right now. Nadia is with David Cheng from Jackie Chan DC Racing.
Yes, thank you very much. We do have David Cheng with us, the owner and also the driver for Jackie Chan DC Racing team. How are you doing?
Really good. Beautiful weather here in ZHUHAI International Circuit. First round in the Asian Le Mans Series 2017-2018 season. Amazing to be back.
Exactly, and we know that your team did well last season, did better at the 24-hour Le Mans. You want to tell us something about that?
Yeah, it was really amazing run at the this year's Le Mans 24 hours. You know, first and second in class, second and third overall, which, you know, we still can't believe happened. But it's been an amazing year. You know, we started at the Asian Le Mans in 2013 solely in the goal of one day winning Le Mans 24. Shortly 3 years following, taking our core group of guys. When we started, myself, Remy, Hopin, we started little by little, and we built up little by little, and every day progressing into this goal. And all of a sudden this year to have the result we did.
Congratulations. And well, qualifying is about to start in a couple of minutes. Tell us a bit about that, how you guys prepping?
Yeah, so we have 2 P2 cars this year. Orica 05s. One's being driven with a new crew of ours, with one familiar face, Thomas Laurent, who we've been developing here at Asia Le Mans 2 years ago when we picked him up straight out of go-karting, world go-karting champion, and you know, he drove the P3 with us onto a championship. Last year, P2, very close. Maybe some of our fans know what happened last year. Fortunate situation, but he did a brilliant job, which prepared him for being a Le Mans winner this year. Just 2 days ago, he got confirmed as the official rookie test to be testing Toyota's LMP1 car. We're so excited for him. And yeah, we got new drivers, Harrison Newey, very big name in motorsports, and as well as last year's Le Mans winner, Stefan Rekami, back with us. Yeah, of course. Myself being paired with Ho Pin Tung again for our 4th season together, and our new LMP3 lineup with 2 Americans, Guy Cosmo and Patrick Bryan. So I think we're all shooting for pole here. It's going to be a tight one, but we're really excited to see what happens.
You're not the only one. Everyone's excited to see what happens. All the best with the team. And so back to you, Graham. And I want to hear what you have to say about this spectacular team right here, Jackie Chan and DC Racing Team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a spectacular rise from the Jackie Chan DC Racing Team with Joe Sport this year in the FIWC and now here in the Asia Le Mans Series as well. These 2 brand new Oreca 05s. These are cars to an older spec you'll see in the World Championship, but nonetheless spectacular. Something like 500 horsepower from their 4.5-litre V8 Nissan engines, and great-looking cars. Great to hear what David there was talking about Thomas Laurent, a man they brought to the Asia Le Mans Series to prove his worth in LMP racing with the LMP3 effort 2 seasons ago, then into LMP2 last year, and leading the World Championship now with Ho Pin Tung in the mighty 38 car in the WEC, and now, of course, here as well for the Asia Le Mans Series, looking to see if he can take another title. Great to hear, too, in referring to that test drive that he's actually earned in the Toyota. Well, it's the 20 years since we've actually seen the ZHUHAI International Circuit become the very first Chinese mainland circuit. Well, see whether or not we can see a full lap now around the ZHUHAI International Circuit at speed.
Hi, I'm Ollie from FIS Team AAI. We're going to take an onboard lap here with my teammate Lam Yu. It's coming down to turn 1, really hard on the brakes. It's a tricky double apex right-hander, trailing the brakes into the corner there. Now you're just trying to get back on the power, working with the rear tyre to get the grip. Flat through here, the car feels awesome through here because it's sucked to the ground by the downforce. Back across to the right-hand side, hard on the brakes into here. You can use a bit of a curb on the apex. You let the car run straight into the right-hander there, onto the exit curb. Flat through here, you have to watch the bump here on cold tyres because it can really unsettle the car. And then you're straight onto the brakes, carrying the brakes right the way into this apex here. It's a really tight right-hander, so you have to be patient with the power. Try and get on the power too early there, it just pushes you wide onto the grass. So you want to get a good run down here, keeping the car onto the right-hand side, hard on the brakes. Again, we're training the brakes into the apex, just keeps the weight on the nose and helps you really rotate the car in the slow stuff. And now you're building the speed through the left-hander here. That's where you gain a lot of time through there when you put new rubber on the car. As soon as we put new tyres on, you pick up a lot of grip, so it's a place you can really gain. Another tight right-hand bend. As with the others, we want to trail the brakes deep into the corner, keeping the weight on the nose. You see a little bit of oversteer there, and he corrected that with a bit of opposite lock. Flat through this left-hand kink, and then into the what's the most enjoyable corner on the circuit. A high-speed right-hander, a little bit of apex curve, let the car run nice and wide on the exit, and we're back onto the start-finish straight. So thanks for joining me for a lap of ZHUHAI.
So that was a fantastic, Graham, that was a fantastic view of that lap with the FIS AAI team number 90 car. That was the Mercedes AMG GT3. This track, I said, 14 turns, 9 of them are rights, 5 of them are lefts. What asphalt surface, what do you make of ZHUHAI? A lot of people say it's a driver's circuit. It's
tight, it's technical, and it's very quick in parts. Our view from the commentary booth overlooks that final turn Ollie was talking about being the most enjoyable corner on the circuit, and it looks it. They do come tearing down past us. Getting ready though now, the car's beginning to kind of leave the pit apron, head down towards pit exit, ready for the light to go green. Get down to the pit lane and see how things are actually beginning to progress with Nadia.
Yeah, so we are here with Davide Rizzo with BBT Racing Team. So how are you feeling? You've went around the tracks for practice runs?
Yeah, we did practice yesterday, we did practice today, so it's going pretty well. First time we are in the car. and he's getting a great experience for sure. So we're quite happy to be here.
So expectations for this season, what are you looking forward to?
Well, so far we hope to have some clean races and to finish the championship in a good point. And first of all, to have a lot of laps to prepare better for next year.
And BBT was in last season, but now, but in GT, but now in a different class. So does that make a difference?
Well, the big difference is with the downforce on this car. The power is more or less the same, there's no big difference, and the braking. But the car is much faster, it's much more enjoyable for the racing drivers.
More enjoyable?
Yeah.
Right, that's good to know, more enjoyable. So thank you so much, all the best for the rest of the season, of course. And I guess back to you, Jeevan.
Thanks a lot, Nadia. Graham, David Rizzo, of course, highly experienced in this class. As Nadia just pointed out, making the jump up Team BBT, of course, from GTE to LMP2. And that brings us nicely to this endurance racing ladder that this is all about. Of course, the ACO, the Automobile Club de l'Ouest, 111 years now they've been setting up, and that is such an important century of motorsports. And within that time, they have set up these three endurance racing series. First, it was the American Le Mans series, then, of course, the European Le Mans series, both of which you have been party to and commentated on. Now, of course, the Asian Le Mans series as well. All three of this is the bottom level of this endurance racing ladder, right?
It's about bringing people into the global motorsport, and of course, with the emerging market in Asia, the rapidly emerging market in Asia, it's a great place to be. It's been a slow burn. People have had to make the right choices to get the right cars here. We've got a great looking grid here. I know the championship organisers are expecting there to be rather more cars by the time we get to Japan, and then more again when we get to the two races in 2018 with Buriram in Thailand and then finishing up in Sepang in Malaysia. But the real main thing here is that these guys, we're going to be expecting a number of these guys, these teams, these drivers, to be pushing forward to appear on the international scene, and amongst those have been some brand new teams to sports car racing. And one of those, we've had the Asian Le Mans Sprint Cup. The winner of the Asian Le Mans Sprint Cup this year was William Locke with Win Racing, and he's down there with Nadia in pit lane right now.
Yes, thanks, guys. And as you can see, I've got William Locke here with me, the reigning champion of the Asian Le Mans Sprint Cup, of course. How are you feeling?
We're feeling great. I mean, we had an issue in the private test today. The fuel cell was leaking, but we managed to fix it right away. So we have less testing time to do a quali sim and some of the strategy we want to try. But today our sessions were good, times are good, the pace was right on the coffee was good. We're looking very confident here.
That is very good, sounding very confident. Well, you were talking about those little hiccups like the fuel and stuff like that. Does that dampen the mood for the team, or is it okay?
No, it just makes the team stronger. I mean, any problem we overcome. I mean, since we started the team this year, I mean, there are hiccups here and there. It's racing. It must have hiccups. And the better team will overcome, and it gets better and better. That's the only way a team is going to improve, is to see the problem, face it, and overcome it.
Do you feel any kind of pressure from being the reigning champions of the Sprint Cup coming into Asian Le Mans right now?
Well, it's a totally different ball game, but it's not a lot of pressure. But I mean, obviously, we're looking at a very, very competitive grid. We got DCR, we got quite a lot of very, very competitive, good driver, best lineup I've ever seen. And I think, but we're still very competitive. I think we're amongst one of the favorites as well, because we had a really good lineup, and our pace is good, our car is good. So I think it's going to be a very, very exciting race and very, very fun to watch.
Exactly, nicely said. Congratulations on that win, and all the best, of course. Right, now back to Jeevan.
That's William Locke from Win Motorsport, and as you can see, Graham, the pit window, the pit lane is open for LMP qualifying. This is what we've been waiting for, and those teams and those drivers, as you said, a quality field of drivers. We just saw in the background there Richard Bradley. He, of course, was the 2015 24-hour LMP2 champion as well. Now, as these cars are going out there, what are they going to be facing in Zhuhai, and what is it like having just a 15-minute qualifying with it?
You've got to produce it. You've got to produce it very quickly indeed. Richard Bradley leads out the #1 Win Motorsports Ligier in the LMP3 class. Konstantin Kalko in the RC Bratislava LMP2 car, #4. it's Guy Cosmo, American racer from the IMSA series in the Jackie Chan DC Racing number 6. That's the other LMP3, another LMP3 car. Ho Pin Tung, leader of the World Championship at the moment, LMP2, with the same team, Jackie Chan DC Racing, by Jota. And Thomas Laurent, we've already spoken about him, of course. Sean Tong in the Taiwan Beer GH Motorsports Leisure. KCMG here, Josh Burton, Hong Kong driver in the number 18 car. Dean Kutamadis, Australian driver in the Algarve Pro car, number 25. And regular viewers, listeners to broadcast to do with Endurance Motorsport will need to remember it's not blue and white, it's black.
Yes, that's
this
right.
car,
That's
so
right.
completely different. Keiko Ihara makes a comeback to endurance racing after a couple of years away, back in an LMP2 car in the Eurasia Motorsport 33. Pipa Durrani, the Team BBT car, brightly red coloured with the yellow and black stripes. The Daytona 24 Hours winner and Sebring 12 Hours winner from 2016 is at the wheel of the 37. And Dominic Ang from the Malaysian team, Viper Nita Racing, rounds out the 11 cars we'll see on track for this session in the number 65 Ligier JSP3.
Well, we almost don't have enough time with the amount of accolades that these guys have actually already picked up and won, but there are a couple of course, this isn't the first time they've been out on track. You've got to understand that with these race weekends, things actually do start on Thursday. There's a lot of regulations and there's a lot of rules that these drivers have to get. There have been briefings and car scrutineerings and inspections, of course, and making sure the transponders on the cars are all right. And we can tell you now, in the two free practices before qualifying, which were 1.5 hours each, Dominic Ang, as you just mentioned, actually had a bit of a nightmare on this morning's one, and he was out in the gravel twice. But that's because it is very difficult to control these high downforce cars on a track that has this many turns, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is pretty green, not a lot of racing here. We've got trouble for the ARC Bratislava car coming down pit lane with smoke from the rear of the car. Now, how's that car been off? It's been off and it's got frontal damage. So
that is Miro Konopko's car, well, the owner of it, of course, and that is currently being driven by Konstantin Karko, as you said. And yes, from our commentary position, we overlook turn 14 just as the cars get onto the start grid, and into the pit lane came that car. Now, what do you reckon happened there?
That looks to have front end damage, so whether or not he's been off the track, which is my bet, whether or not, I presume not, impact with another car.
Yeah.
But either way, that's going to ruin their qualifying session. Just 11 minutes to go.
That's exactly what I was saying, because any problems you may have, technical problems, or of course if you do get off track, off circuit, that could take up to 10 minutes to fix. So there is a feasible situation where you could say that you end up having 3 or 4 minutes to get out on track and put out the fastest lap you can.
Absolutely right. And already to the top of the timing and scoring go the two Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota P2 cars. Ho Pin Tung ahead of Thomas Laurent, both into the 132s. It's 132.503 from Ho Pin Tung. It's 132.840 for Thomas Laurent, but Pipa Durrani blows that away with a 130.650 and a car he's very familiar with, the BBT car, an ex-G Drive racing car from the World Endurance Championship.
Well, 24-year-old Brazilian, and they know him as being ultra fast, and he's proved that already just with 5 minutes in. Amazing sector times at a 136.50. There's 2 seconds clear of those two. In fact, KCMG now, Josh Burton as well, has also put in a time a little bit faster than those Jackie Chan.
But that's a P3 car. That's a P3 car that's gone second. That is incredibly quick from Josh Burton. So the P3 car from KCMG, the number 18 car, goes second fastest overall with a 132.187. Both of the Jackie Chan DC Racing cars pit immediately.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see what's going to be coming to play here.
Well, in those free practices that we saw, it was the Jackie Chan DC Racing pair that did come out on top, or well, generally on the top of the pack. So what you've brought up is really the essence of mixed class racing right now. When you do see an LMP3, an LMP2 car, for those of you who are getting used to endurance racing, and you really should because it is the heart of motorsport, LMP2 cars generally 4 seconds faster per lap than an LMP3 car, generally 4 seconds faster than your GT class. So if you do see an LMP3 car suddenly beating out an LMP2 car, that's some great driving from Josh Burton.
That's some great driving from Josh Burton. Great driving too from Richard Bradley, who's now split the Orica 05s. Has gone 4th quickest in the number 1 Win Motorsport car. William Locke will be pleased with that effort. So BBT currently on provisional pole position. 9 minutes to go in the session. Pipa Durrani from Josh Burton in the KCMG LJS P3, the first of the P3 cars, with a 1:30.951. It's 1:28.4 now.
Yeah, it's getting even faster for Pippo
Durrani.
as we look at Keiko Ihara in the Eurasia Motorsport. That's that red and white car on your screen. And currently, Keiko's put in a 1:33.948. But as you said, 8 minutes left. And here's Keiko getting into Sector 3. So just to break down the track for you, Sector 1, when we do talk about, we'll be talking about it today, and of course we'll be talking about it tomorrow during the race. Sector 1 is essentially turns 1 through 5. Sector 2 is turns 6 through 9, and that gets us into the last bit, which is Sector 3, which is turns 10 through turns 14. Now, which of those sectors to you, Graham, are the fastest for you?
The final sector, as you've got, with the exception of the fact you've got that tricky turn 11, turn 12.
The apex,
it's the drag strip, if you like, back towards start-finish straight here, which is absolutely spectacular. That's where we've got Keiko Ihara right now. That's the only lady driver we actually have in the HL Le Mans Series at the moment. In 2017-18 with Eurasia Motorsport in this car, which is the XRGR Sport car from the World Endurance Championship. Came second in the championship a couple of years ago, this car. So there is Pippo Durrani, by the way. Has he improved? He's not improved this time around, so lifted off.
That is our current leader in that orange and yellow BBT, which is, of course, their racing colours, and you can see them in a number of different classes like that. Just a quick note on Keiko Ihara, of course, won at Fuji, Formula BMW, Formula Asia, made a big impact there as well. So no new, little bit of a skid there from Pippo into turn 4 and 5, but that is a trouble part of the circuit, right?
Just goes to show just how tricky the track conditions are here. We don't have a lot of racing here at ZHUHAI. That means the track is very, very green, despite the fact we've had cars out on the circuit for the last couple of days. So still very tricky conditions here.
So as you can see, we were talking about what a short pit window or qualifying window it was. 15 minutes is just rattling through. There's about under 7 minutes left now, and you can see the speed that Pippo Durrani is trying to put in. He's pretty much got at least a wheel or two off track and keeping it on the black stuff here, but really pushing that BBT car. And currently with that 1:28.44, you're right, he will be on pole. The current standings are Josh Burton should be in second, and Sean Thong from Taiwan BGH Motorsport would be in third, and that's 2 LMP3 cars in the top 3.
It's 3 in the top 4 with Richard Bradley behind.
Right, yeah.
But the 2 Orica 05 Nissans from Jackie Chan DC Racing have now rejoined the track. And without a shadow of a doubt, with just 6 minutes left in the session, we're pushing hard to see what they can do to join Pippo Durrani at the top of timing and scoring. Back out on track, by the way, ARC Bratislava.
Yep, we can just see them
beginning of the race,
at the
session
top of the screen. Still, so they managed to get that car up and running. Whatever was the trouble, as we said right at the beginning of the session, about 3 minutes in, we saw that ARC Bratislava Ligier JS P2 come into the pit lane with smoke coming out of it as well. Now having a look at Guy Cosmo.
Yeah, as we look at Guy, teammate in the LMP2 car, Thomas Laurence, has gone up to 3rd place overall. So just one of those gaggle of P3 cars now ahead of him. That's the KCMG car. So BBT, their Ligier JS P2, lead the way at the moment, 1:28.440. Excellent effort from Josh Burton at 1:30.048. Has him still effectively on the provisional front row, but it's been closed down now by Jackie Chan DC Racing. Thomas Laurent comes through with a 1:30.461. He's going quicker again this time round. We wait to see what Hopin Tone can actually produce. But what he can produce is Sector 1 is purple at the moment for Hopin, so it's the quickest of all in the session. Pippo Durrani, though, I think is about to go quicker. He does.
He does
1:28.090. He knows there's a threat coming now from the two Oricas.
He's absolutely blazing it around the track. Now, I was going to ask you the significance of the front row, the second row with a mixed class endurance race with the size, of course, pit strategies come in, time management comes into it over 4 hours. How important, how significant is it to be right up at the top of the grid? Not just as an achievement for the team, obviously, to be up there, but how much does it help?
It keeps you out of trouble in the first corner. This is what it comes really down to. But at least they hope so. But the reality is, it's a good headline. It shows the kind of pace that's in the car. But the reality is, it's probably less important in this form of motor racing than any other. but guys like to go fast in fast cars.
Now this is turn 4 and 5. Got some action there with the ARC Bratislava car just staying off the line. Now that's an important point here. We just heard from race control that Hope in Tung's Jackie Chan DC Racing Orica 05 hit lap 6 for Ho is going to be deleted due to just being off track limits. When we say track limits, of course, it means just keeping your wheels too far off.
Absolutely.
You've got to keep it on the black stuff.
Keep it between the white lines. But while there's bad news for number 7, it's good news for number 8, because to the top atomic and scoring now, Thomas Laurent, 128.048. The gap then between the two LMP2 cars now on the provisional front row, 0.042 of a second, although that changes back as I speak. Pipo Derani grabs it back. 0.069 of a second is now the gap, because back to the top goes Pipo Derani, 127.979. First man under 128.
Yeah, faster and faster. And as you said, first man to break the 128 barrier. In free practice, we saw a lot of cars hitting 129, 120. I know Stefan Ricalmi hit 129.459 for Jackie Chan. And that's the other thing you have to remember about mixed class racing. It's not just one driver in these cars. It can be a team of up to 3 and 2. We'll be getting into more of these topics, I said, during the race, because we literally haven't got the time for it. 2 minutes left.
It's a quick fire session. It absolutely is. Up into 4th position briefly, by the way, goes ARC Bratislava, down to 5th with an improvement now from the number 7 Jackie Chan DC Racing car, goes 3rd. KCMG's car, which is leading in the LMP3 stakes, now 4th on the grid. So in the second row of the grid at the moment, this 18 car, you can see on pit lane now from Josh Burton. Great run from him, adding 2nd in the session for several minutes, in fact. ARC Bratislava with Konstantin Skalko, Latvian driver. After that issue at the beginning of the session, recovering now and in 5th position, going quicker again this time.
Now here is Sean Thong coming up the start, the home straight into turn 1. That's the green and white Taiwan beer GH Motorsport Ligier P3. A couple other cars following them up. This is really good stuff. And that is Algarve Pro Racing. Of course, Algarve Pro Racing, the current champions.
Absolutely.
There's a huge story there, of course, because it really came down to the last corner at the end of last season to discern whether it was going to be Jackie Chan or whether it was going to be Algarve to be the winners of the series.
It all happened in the second corner at the final race, I'm afraid, and not in a good way for Jackie Chan DC Racing. But so number 8 back to the top. It goes Thomas Laurent. Thomas Laurent, Pipo Derani locked in here for a battle to the end of this session. Just 1 minute to go. 127.615, and it's a significant improvement from the number 8 car. So Jackie Chan DC Racing.
And we've just heard that it also, Eurasian Motorsport, Keiko Ihara is going to have her 8th lap under investigation. Also, again, for track limits. Must be tough for these drivers, right? Keep it within the white lines. Trying to push it as fast as you can.
I think that's going to Cosmo that's under investigation for that one.
Oh, right, yeah.
But no, 8 from 37, 7 and 4, because up into 4th position now comes Konstantin Skalko. He becomes the 4th man under 130 in the session. So,
well, we've seen now a lot of cars breaking that 130 barrier. Now there's the top 4 have. But how fast can Pipo Derani keep going? Because he's been continuously getting faster throughout these 50 minutes. We've got 11 seconds left.
Well,
and
the answer is he's bailed. Pipo has pitted the car. That will hand pole position to the number 8 car. And Thomas Laurent goes through. Does not improve this time around. Doesn't need to. 127.615. Can anybody else make an impact on that? Here comes ARC Bratislava and Konstantin Skalko. He does improve, but does not improve. It improves time, but not position. 128.833 from Kalko.
So this is the final lap now.
Yeah, and actually we have got an improvement. It's from Ho Pin Tung, and that means at the moment, with the checkered flag coming out right at the death, it is an all Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota front row. Thomas Laurent with Ho Pin Tung, 1 and 2, 8 from 7.
Well, this is what we saw in the 2 free practices as well, that in the end they would put in some times, but that was 1.5 hours each of those free practice sessions. They've managed to come out in 15 minutes with competition and still be on top of it.
fantastic stuff, and great stuff as well by Pippa Durrani. Took the fight to Jackie Chan DC Racing. They had to push. They had to push very hard indeed. And 3 cars into the 127s in that session.
And so all in all, just to go through that, you've got Thomas Laurent, Ho Bin Tung from Jackie Chan DC up in the top 2 positions. Pippa Durrani from the BBT racing team in 3rd. Konstantin Skalko from ARC Bratislava got over those troubles at the early part of the qualifying session in 4th. Josh Burden with that fantastic lap, still 1:30.048 in 5th for KCMG. Keiko Ihara for Eurasian Motorsport in 6th. Richard Bradley, in 7th for Win Motorsport. Guy Cosmo in the other Jackie Chan DC Racing LMP3. Sean Thong in 9th with Taiwan Beer GH Motorsport. Dean Kutsimidis, from Algarve Pro Racing in 10th, and Dominic Ang from Viper Nisa Racing in 11th.
Yeah, good stuff, and all 11 cars fully lit there. The red car on pit lane now with Thomas Laurent.
And here is our pole position winner for tomorrow's race. Well, around about lunchtime, it's going to be starting the 4 Hours of ZHUHAI. There's still one more qualifying session to come, and that's going to be the GT qualifying.
It's been great for Thomas Laurent with the confirmation that he'll be getting that Toyota LMP1 test drive.
Well, that's getting back to that endurance racing ladder. It must be a great step up, great news, of course, if you do get a drive.
An opportunity, any opportunity to drive something like that. That is right there, the world's most technologically advanced racing car.
Yeah.
In terms of the technology that's deployed to produce the lap times that these LMP1 hybrid cars do up to the 124 hours and elsewhere. 1,000 horsepower plus from those cars.
Yeah, and only about 900 kilograms as well. So
that's absolutely, they are an astonishing thing to watch. The acceleration, the pure speed, and the lap times they can produce.
So we are back at the ZHUHAI International Circuit in Guangdong for the first round of the Asian Le Mans Series 2017. For the 2017-2018 series, and we've just had the qualifying 15-minute qualifying session for the LMP2, LMP3s. That's how it ended up, but of course it wasn't like that from the beginning, was it?
It wasn't, right. No. We had dramas for the ARC Bratislava team, onto pit lane with front-end damage to their Ligier, and then it looked as if the earliest offerings from the Jackie Chan DC Racing team had not been good enough. They came in, made some adjustments, but while they were kind of out on track and playing hard, was Pippa Durrani in the Team BBT 37 car. That looked like he'd made a clean getaway, but then out came the big guns from the Jackie Chan DC Racing squad and grabbed pole position, indeed grabbed the whole front row right at the death with the best offer from Ho Bin Tung. After losing a lap to track limits, his best offer came right at the end of the session, and they end the session just 0.146 of a second apart, a couple of tenths ahead of Pippa Durrani's best.
Now,
does rather kind of present to us, doesn't it, a mouth-watering prospect for tomorrow?
Well, we've got Thomas Laurent right now down in the pit lane. I think Nadia is ready to speak to him, so let's hear from Thomas Laurent.
Yes, we are with the man himself, Thomas Laurent, who finished first just now from Jackie Chan DC Racing team. How are you feeling?
Really nice. It's my first pole position in the Le Mans series since 3 years about myself. So yeah, I'm proud of my team. We did a really good job during the free practice, so it's nice. So during the practice, the free practice, it really helped. Can you maybe tell us a bit more specific? What was it that you guys did
that get you here, that got you here?
Yeah, if P1 we work in for the race, and if P2 it was more for the quali, to make a lap, and it's done. So it's a nice work here.
Great way to start the season. So tomorrow is going to be the race. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Yeah, really nice. I've already taken the start, so I'm happy about it. And we will see. It's a 4 hours races, so we'll see tomorrow.
Yes, we will see tomorrow. Thank you so much and congratulations once again. Right, back to you, Graham.
Yeah, great to see that young man just maturing. It seems every single time a camera's pointed at him, from being kind of slightly rabbit in the headlights 3 years ago, he's now becoming very much more the rounded professional. He knows that he's got a career ahead of him. I interviewed him just a couple of weeks ago in Japan at the World Endurance Championship, and
which he's currently leading in
which
his
he's
class,
currently
right?
leading. With, oddly enough, the normal WEC crew is split here. He shares the car with Ho Pin Tung in the WEC effort for the Jackie Chan DC racing team. So that the usual teammates in the World Championship are rivals here. Not far away now, though, from GT qualifying.
Well, that's it. I mean, the GT qualifying, of course, is going to be just as interesting as that. Another 15-minute window coming. What we saw there, was that more a case of the Jackie Chan DC racing team knowing they could put those laps out, or was it strategy?
It was definitely, they knew they could do it, as Thomas was saying there. It went from FP1, where they were working on race pace, to FP2, where they were looking to see what they could do about dominating qualifying.
Right.
The plan worked. It'll be interesting to find out what they did in terms of any changes that were made when the cars came into pit.
So you reckon they saw that flying lap from Pippo Durrani, thought, hold on a second, we might need to make a couple of changes, brought both cars in.
Bang.
Now that is brings in that element of teamwork, and that really is what the Asian Le Mans Series is about. It's not just teamwork between the 2 or 3 drivers in the car, but also everyone behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's cool heads. It's a pure team sport, the Asian Le Mans Series and sports car racing. Knowing that you've got the time to come in, bring both cars down pit lane, trust the team to do what exactly it is they've got to do, trust the drivers to stay absolutely on point, and go out there and produce those flying lap times.
So, still to come, of course, 15 minutes of qualifying at this first qualifying session of the season for the Asian Le Mans Series 2017-2018 season. As Graham pointed out, it's going to be 4 rounds happening all the way up to February. And now, of course, another driver that put in a flying lap was Josh Burden, and we're ready to speak to him, or Nadia is, in the pits.
Exactly, a flying lap indeed. We've got Josh Burden with us from KCMG. Of course, you need a sip of water after what you've done just now. Congratulations, fastest time for the LMP3 class. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really happy. We put in a lot of work to this. It's my first time in the Asia Le Mans Championship. It's good. It was a healthy margin, but after all, it is a 4-hour race, so I'm really excited for tonight, and tomorrow we just need to do it over 4 hours.
So you're going to have to repeat that within 4 hours. And after what you did in qualifying today, how are you looking for tomorrow? Like, what is your expectations?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's not many ways you could look forward to it more than starting off pole position. So it'll be good. Eric is starting the race, handing over to Lewis before I finish at the moment. So at the moment, they're doing a very good job as well. We've got a very good car, good team. Everything's working. Let's just see how we are tomorrow afternoon.
First time in the Asian Le Mans Series. How is it treating you so far?
It's exciting. It's cool. I've never raced in a championship of endurance like this where there's 3 different categories out there. So it'll be interesting racing a few different cars, different speeds and everything, but so far so good.
All the best for tomorrow and congratulations on the best time today, right? All right, so it's back to you guys at Jeevan.
Well, that is very interesting. Thanks for that, Nadia. That's very interesting to hear from him. We were just talking about the teamwork needed, and he was saying about how they're just hoping that these conditions can continue, and of course, whether those conditions continue, it is a different prospect, as he said, 15-minute qualifying to a 4-hour race. A number of things can happen in a 4-hour race.
Absolutely, Josh, the reigning Asian Formula Renault champion from Tasmania. Josh, and there was a whole new set of disciplines to learn for him here. One is traffic, because of course he's not in the fastest car.
Right,
He's got an MPT car, 2 cars that are faster than him, but he's faster than the GT cars.
And talking of the GT cars, as you can see on the screen, the qualifying session, the 15 minutes for qualifying for GT has just started. The pit lane has been opened, and that is the Mercedes AMG GT3 from the FIST Team AI. That was the exact car, in fact, that we just saw earlier, which was going around on that flying lap. Now, of course, they have to put in it's going to be Raffaello Marciello, the former Sauber and Ferrari test driver that's actually in that car right now. He's out there, and of course from Tianchi Racing Team, who are the home team here at
very much so.
ZHUHAI. Massimiliano Visa from Italy in the Audi R8 LMS is also going to be in the other GT car. Now these cars, as I said, are in terms of road cars, are the pinnacle. They are the fastest, they are the best. And now you've souped them up, but still they are going to have a lot of trouble, as we actually see Raffaello having a bit of trouble on that corner just then, trying to keep up with these LMP2s and MP3s. Yeah,
well, they'll have their own race to think about. Is the way that this will actually work. But Mercedes-Benz AMG, big roaring twin-turbo V8 in that car. It's much the same, 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 in the BMW M6 GT3. And then the fabulous, sonorous V10 in the back of the Audi R8 GT3, the Audi R8 LMS. Great to see the variety that we all love to see. And straight back into the pits, by the way, comes the Mercedes AMG.
Right. And it's strange to see immediately, and that is the Audi R8 that Graham was talking about. Had a bit of trouble in free practice on Friday with a bit of a tyre blowout, but they've just one of those things that the team has to get over, I suppose. And they're going to be hoping for a good qualifying session here, put in a really fast lap. Now, of course, completely different setup for a road car as opposed to these LMP2s. The LMP2s and LMP3s, the prototypes, as we should call them, have high downforce cars, mid-mounted engines. These are set to road specs.
They're basically set to road specs plus. I mean, you drove this down the road, I'm sure your local police force might want to pull you over for a quick check of your documents.
If they could catch you.
But the major kind of aero developments on these, major electronics here as well to actually help the drivers. They're designed to actually help a Pro-Am format. They do have ABS, they do have traction control, so it's a better package for a gentleman driver to compete on more level terms with a professional driver.
And I think we are ready to go down to the pits. Nadia Nash is with Wei-An Chen.
All right, we are with Wei-An Chen from car number 66 with Tianchi Motors. So how are you feeling about the qualifying? Your car is already out there. How's it going?
Yes, our mate Max is on the wheel right now, and I think we have a pretty good pace this weekend. We suffer from some unexpected tire issue throughout all the practice, free practice, and even the private test. So I think we have overcome that, and we're looking for a very good result.
Right. You talking about some tire issues? Can you be more specific? What happened? This was during the free practice?
Yes, specifically today during the tube practice, we had twice a puncture, and that also happened the day before, so just something unfortunate, I think.
But all that fixed and ready for the qualifying and for the race tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. So waiting for him to come over there and set a good lap time.
Yes, we'll wait for him and we'll wave at him when he comes over, right? All the best tomorrow. Looking forward to what the GT cars can do also, of course. Congratulations on being here, yes. So I guess, guys, that's what you got from Wei-An Chen from another GT car racer. So back to you guys.
Well, interesting. Thanks for that, Nadia. Interesting, Graham, that he brought up the tyre issue. And it was a puncture, apparently, that they had in free practice.
Free practice too. They actually had a double puncture, both on the right-hand side of the car. So whether or not that was an issue about the setup of the car, or whether or not that was actually clipping the curbs, but not really clear about. But they'd had that. They also had the blowout in FP1. So it's been a tricky lead into this, but at the moment they're the only of the three cars to have actually set a flying lap at 1:39.546, going quicker this time around as the AMG GT3 rejoins the track. So it's 1:39.546 at the moment is the time to beat from Massimiliano Visa.
That really does just highlight the speed difference between these classes as well. Remember, it was a 127.615 that was set by the top LMP2 car. So when this gets into a race strategy tomorrow, these cars, as you said, will be running their own race, but by being at that speed, they're obviously going to cause different track situations for the other classes. Absolutely,
it's going to be about maintaining momentum for the LMP drivers. It's about keeping your nose clean and all the other parts of the car for that matter, staying out of trouble when you do hit traffic, and traffic could be one car, one corner, and it could cost you 2, 3, 4 seconds. Much quicker lap this time around, by the way, for VCR. 1:35.877 for the number 66 car. But the AMG GT3 is getting up to speed. I think we'll have an answer to this question, the qualifying question, pretty soon.
Well, you can just see him warming up his tyres. I think that's the only reason I can see him doing that serpentine pattern throughout there. He's getting into sector 3. It definitely looks like he's priming himself for a much bigger lap.
Yeah, certainly ready to go for it. We're just over all the way, halfway through this 15-minute qualifying session. Yet to see, by the way, the number 91 BMW. It'll be interesting to find out what's going on down in the FIS Team AI Empire. Whether or not that car's got any kind of issue, Juntan Chen is due to take this car into qualifying. We haven't seen it yet in the session so far.
So leading currently is Massimiliano Visa with that 1:35.877, as you said, and that was in the Audi R8 LMS. And currently looking at, once again, Raffaello Marciello, Mercedes AMG GT3 through turn 4, through turn 5, and very slippery through turn 5 there. And we've got Nadia in the pit lane with Ollie Milroy.
Yes, we are with Ollie Milroy from FIS AI team driving the GT car. So who's out on the tracks right now?
My teammate Rafael Marciello. Yeah, really good, I think. We just did the first lap now, so we'll see, obviously, when the tyres come in a couple of laps' time. But yeah, he knows his car really well. You know, he's a factory AMG driver, so he's very experienced with the car. And our race pace looks good for tomorrow, so yeah.
You had a few practice runs yesterday, early this morning. How was that?
Yeah, really good, really good. We've tested the car with high fuel load and low fuel load and everything, old tyres, new tyres, and we're really happy going into tomorrow. And all three of us seem pretty close, pretty quick as well. So
all bases covered. You look confident. How are you feeling for the race tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, we come here for the whole week and all about tomorrow, really, you know. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. Yeah, ask me tomorrow evening and I'll let you know.
Right, he's excited. We know all the best for tomorrow, Ollie. Right, now back to you, Jeevan.
Thanks, Nadia. Excitement is the name of the game in Asian Le Mans Series. And just while Nadia was talking to Ollie Milroy, that AMG GT3, Graham, was all over the track, and really the track limits we were talking about, we've just heard from race control, in fact, on our screens, that that third lap will be deleted for abuse of track limits, but all four wheels off
Indeed,
track.
But going a lot quicker this time around, so he's not yet scored a flying lap time. It's still there for the Jiangxi Racing Team's Audi R8 has improved their best lap time of 1:34.830. But this is going to get very hot very quickly, because we've got Massimiliano Visa leading the way here, waiting for a lap time to be scored by either the AAI cars. Raffaello Marciello, the AMG factory driver, Jesse Krohn, the Finnish BMW factory driver. They're both out there in the AAI cars. Yeah. 5 minutes to go in the session, and I wouldn't bet on either of those not being ahead of the Audi by the time we get to the checkered flag.
Well, still seeing a couple of wheels off track there for the Mercedes AMG GT3. Now, just to put this in perspective, of course, you've got a 15-minute qualifying window, and you've got a general lapping time of about 1.5 minutes. That means that on your best day, with everything going fine, you're probably going to get about 6, maybe 7 laps maximum in your qualifying. From that, you've got to get your flying lap, and of course, we just heard that the I think one of the laps for the FIS Team AI is going to be deleted because of those
that one's gone already.
Yeah.
So the one we've just seen, which does take it to pole position in GT class for Raffaello Marciello, The number 90 car goes to pole position, but by less than a tenth of a second again. The margins are tiny. So 1:34.742 plays 1:34.830. We wait to see what Jesse Krohn can produce. Here he comes for his first attempt, and he's out there just in front on the road of the Audi. It's 1:36.384, but as Ollie Milroy was saying, it takes a lap or two for the tyres to come in for these cars.
4 minutes left in the session, and that is the first time that we're seeing that BMW M6 GT3 with Jesse Krohn at the wheel. Now, you know a little bit about Jesse Krohn as well as a driver, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jesse's been with BMW now as a junior and now as a full factory driver for some time. Young Finnish driver, another one of these guys that had a career path planned, if you like, in single-seaters, saw the opportunities that GT racing in particular actually offered to him, and you know what, a young man with a factory contract in his pocket, not a bad thing to actually have. He could be there for years and years and years, and this is what these guys want. They want a career driving race cars.
Yeah.
There is the M6 GT3, and then the Audi, very different looking cars, rear-engined Audi R8, front-engined BMW M6 GT3. If anything, the BMW presenting like an Uber touring car. Tall, slab-sided if you like, but stupendously quick. 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 in the BMW. It's a 5 litre V10 in the rear of this Audi. Exactly, by the way, the same engine as you'll find in the Lamborghini GT3.
And that, I think those figures you just came up with just really do highlight the fact that these GT cars in this class is no slouch.
Oh no,
these are pacey vehicles, and they're only outshone by the prototypes.
And they're only outshone by the prototypes because the prototypes have got better aero, because they've got less weight, because these have actually got more power. This is somewhere north of 500 horsepower for these cars. Times, depending on the way balance performance works for these cars, touching 600 horsepower. These are phenomenally quick cars, particularly in a straight line. And if we did get to the stage where we got a wet race and the ABS system is going to play,
then they would have the advantage.
You've got a couple of advantages potentially there in certain parts of the race. We are 2 minutes from the end of the session. It is still number 90 car, but now going up to second position in the order is the BMW M6 with a 1:33.980. It's an improvement, by the way, from the AMG GT3 with a 1:33.259. So 1.1 seconds covers the 3. Here comes the AMG again. It will improve again, I think. It does, a 1:33.104. So it's a further stretch away.
Well, 1.5 minutes left, and one thing we can say about Raffaello Marciello, which we're watching right now, is he exits turn 1 and gets into turns 2 and 3, is he's now respecting those track limits a bit more. He's keeping it a bit more tighter and onto the racing line. Of course, you can see the variance here. You're trying to push the car as hard as you can. You've got this much larger weight, you've got much more power. Turns like that, turns 4 and 5, it's hard to stay within the white lines anyway.
Absolutely. Well, Eduardo Freitas making it clear in driver's briefing, making it clear before the session starts that he'll be keeping a weather eye on track limits. He was a marker placed down, I think, there to the MG driver to say, all right, sunshine, you've had your fun. Reel it back in a little bit here. Big improvement, by the way, from the BMW. Closes the gap to teammates in the AMG to 0.3 of a second. It's the end of session for the Audi. They bail and have pitted. They will therefore remain third in the order.
So good showing from Jesse Krohn, seeing as how we didn't actually see him for the first, I think it's 5 or 6 minutes at least of the qualifying session.
He's going to have one more flying lap here, and he has gone quickest of all in the first sector.
Well, how about that?
There you go, 30.023. Could we have pole position changing hands?
Right at the death.
Absolutely. I suspect we might. Let's keep an eye on that sector too. Remember, because these cars are so very different though, they do have strengths and weaknesses in different parts of the circuit. They produce their performance, their lap time in very different ways. AMG.
Well, this is pitting for Raffaello Marciello in the Mercedes AMG. And here is Jesse Krohn in the BMW M6 GT3. Sector 2 was not the fastest, but
not
building
his
on that
best
second
either.
one, yeah.
But if he'll know on his dash readout, he will have what we call a delta time. So he'll know where he stands against the target that they've set themselves. Here he comes, sweeps through that final turn, crosses the line, and does not improve. It's 0.322 of a second is the gap, so that second sector, I'm afraid, we're in what could have been a sparkling lap. So pole position will go to the same team but a different car. This team AAI and the number 90 Mercedes-AMG GT3 Raffaello Marciello takes pole position in the GT class for tomorrow's 4 Hours of ZHUHAI.
And what's impressive is, of course, that there's just 1.255 seconds between all three cars.
Absolutely, and if anything, that's a surprise to see it so big. Because one thing that does define GT racing is how very close they get to each other.
So all three of the entrants in the GT class, two from the FIST team AI, and of course the Tianchi Racing team have finished now their 15-minute qualifying session, and as Graham has confirmed, it is Raffaello Marciello at the top of that class grid, Jesse Krohn in second. Of course, Raffaello had the 1:33.194 and then 0.322 seconds back from him, Jesse Krohn in the BMW M6 GT3, and 1:34.449 was the final best lap from the Audi R8 LMS from Tianchi Racing Team and Massimiliano Visa. So good times and good race laps, and of course all ready now for tomorrow. Plenty still to come here from the ZHUHAI International Circuit, so keep it tuned to the official live stream from the Asian Le Mans Series. So back at the ZHUHAI International Circuit, and of course we've just had the finish of the qualifying session for the GT class. Raffaello Marciello was the pole position winner in the Mercedes-AMG GT3, and he's down in the pit lane with Nadia Nash.
Yes, we do have Marciello here with us, so how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a good feeling to be on pole, but it's a 4-hour race, so means almost nothing, and yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
Did you say it means almost nothing? So 15 minutes here, 4 hours tomorrow. How are you actually going to prep yourself for tomorrow then?
No, I mean, the car behaved well on all tires, so I think the Mercedes is ready to behave well in the race, so we just have to stay out of trouble and we'll see where we end.
So today was a sunny day, good weather. How was it for you?
Yeah, it's a good day when you're in pole position, so I cannot complain about today, but we will see about tomorrow.
Yes. So all the best tomorrow, and we will see you on the tracks. Back to the commentators.
Thanks for that, Nadia. Good words there from Raffaello Marciello, and a good lap time from him as well. Of course, he was out for the whole 15 minutes. Graham and myself were watching all these GT entrants put in their best times. Just 1.3 seconds between all three in the end. Once again, just to go through those times again, it is 1:33.194, 1:33.516, 1:34.449. So that was the Mercedes-AMG GT3, and let's have a look at those highlights coming up right now. This was from qualifying for the first round of the Asian Le Mans Series, and it all started with the LMP2 and LMP3 classes as you see them rolling out there, and this was fantastic driving from all of the entrants, all of the 11 entrants that came out. As you see them just moving out of the pit lane, and I can tell you now that ARC Bratislava car there with the smoke coming off it, well, it did have a couple of troubles on the first lap, That was Konstantin Kalko in that car, but he managed to get it out in the end. Now, some of the other big names and big stories that happened in this highlights, of course, was the Jackie Chan DC Racing team, numbers 7 and 8 on your car, but they were outdone by Eurasia Motorsport and Pippo Durrani. You can just see him in the back of your screen right now in the orange and yellow BBT. They were the fastest cars out on track at the beginning of the session, especially for the first 5 minutes, and it was Pippo Durrani that really set the pace for this session, putting in a very fast time that actually led to both Jackie Chan DC Racing entrants coming into the pits to make a couple of adjustments. That was Guy Cosmo in the LMP3, Jackie Chan DC Racing, and this here was Josh Burton from KCMG, another very fast lap from him. So for the first 5 minutes, it was Pippo Durrani up top, and it was Josh Burton in second, and that meant that the likes of Win Motorsport and Eurasia Motorsport really had to push, but in the end they came through, and it will be a 1-2 on the grid for Jackie Chan DC Racing. Now that was followed immediately by 15 minutes of qualifying for the GT class. That saw a couple of incidents as well. This Mercedes AMG GT3 from Rafael Marciello actually had one of his laps deleted for abusing track limits early on, but managed to keep it within the white lines and on the black stuff and actually come up with a very good time. This was the Audi R8 LMS from the Tianchi Racing Team, one of the home racing teams from the Zhuhai International Circuit. Massimiliano Visa putting in a very good time of 1:34.449 in the end, and that would lead him third on the grid. The person we didn't see, of course, was Jesse Krohn, the other driver from the FIS Team AAI BMW M6 GT3. Took a while to come out of the pits, but when he did come out, he was already setting some very fast Sector 1 times and was actually topping the standings for a while. A couple more fast laps, but in the end, it was FIS Team AAI that It was the FIS Team AAI team that basically took the first and second spots with 133.194 and 133.516, and the Tianchi Racing Team. Thanks for joining us today for qualifying. Of course, you can join us, myself and Graham, again tomorrow for the 4 hours of ZHUHAI. It's all kicking off at lunchtime.